All right, ladies and gentlemen, second reaction for today because we have no chapters for My Hero Academia. Hold on. Let me just look through here real quick to make sure that I ain't overlooking nothing. I am not overlooking nothing. We are on break, so now I can continue. Because we got ourselves a Jujutsu Kaisen chapter. I can't wait to read this one. So let's get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to more Jujutsu Kaisen. Last we left off in the last chapter, Yuta and Yuji were, doing some work against Sukuna, being able to use the authenticity of mutual love, or authenticity or authentic of mutual love. The domain expansion of Yuta. We found out the full scope of Yuta's capabilities, and including finding out that he ate the last and final finger of Sukuna, which allowed him to copy his cleave ability, which he used against Sukuna. Of course, Sukuna being Sukuna, he basically recounted an incantation, which allowed him to slash both Yuta and Yuji, break through the domain expansion. But who is there waiting for Sukuna, who stabs him immediately through the back just as the domain ends? It's the currently only living person in existence who has access to heavenly restriction. The second coming of Toji Fushiguro, Maki Zenin! So let's see what happens in today's chapter, shall we? In chapter 252, Inhuman Makyo Shinjuku Showdown Part 24. And we're here in a flashback as we have Ino and Kusakabe standing outside of Yuta's domain expansion. Okotsu did a good job shifting the barrier's coordinates. Everyone will scatter. Everyone will scatter and take a position so there are no blind spots. Then when Okotsu lets down part of the barrier, Zenin rushes in. Don't miss the signal. Kusakabe, a few more people should go into the domain. After all, the plan called for Choso to go in too. You're bringing that up now? If someone penetrates Okotsu's domain now, Sukuna will direct his attention outside the domain, and the last thing we want to do is spoil Zenin's surprise attack. Besides, how many of us can maneuver around a special grade sorcerer? I bet you could. Zenin! As it shows Maki landing there. It shows Maki right behind Kusakabe, and it shows Ino leaving. A lot rests on you. And then it shows Maki, who's just standing in like a Usain Bolt sprinting position. And given her massively increased strength, this woman's about to blitz. And she's just standing there waiting, ready for the domain to break. Okotsu will signal when Sukuna's lets down his guard. We expected a scene like this. As it shows in the present, as it fades from the flashback into the present, where the domain shatters. It's the best and worst case scenario. As it shows Yuta being sliced through, Yuji being sliced through, everyone being sliced through by Sukuna. And it shows as Yuta's being sliced through, Rika takes her attention off of Sukuna and proceeds to grab Yuta and drag him away. While Maki has already stabbed Sukuna straight through his back. Now, let me fully describe to you what has fully gone on here. The way that this is drawn, it is drawn with heavier lines. It shows Maki stabbing straight through Sukuna with only the shadow hanging over her and just her eyes lit up, as Sukuna is still smiling after getting stabbed through the chest. Rika grabbing Yuta and dragging him away as Kusakabe goes, "Ui ui!" And then Ui Ui shows up with a cloak and proceeds to prepare to teleport them away. But then we have Maki, who proceeds to slash away Sukuna, who immediately tries to get away from her. Darn that possessed brat. He burst the domain on purpose, probably to signal his allies outside. They planned to use the barrier rupturing to distract me when I was certain of victory so the woman with heavenly restriction could strike. It must be possible to pass through an ordinary barrier if you have no cursed energy. They must have planted the cursed tool ahead of time. And it shows Sukuna just steadily bleeding from this wound that Maki gave him. And he notices. This wound is healing slower than the others. When someone who can observe the soul wields split soul katana, reverse curse technique doesn't usually heal the wound. Repairing the soul's shape requires comprehending the soul's contours. Oh wait, this is a regular narration. This isn't Sukuna. When someone who can observe the soul wields split soul katana, reverse curse technique doesn't usually heal the wound. Repairing the soul's shape requires comprehending the soul's contours. 2 souls inhabit Sukuna's body, so he was aware of the contours of his own soul, much like with Yuji Itadori. But he couldn't perfectly adapt to reverse curse technique functioning differently than usual while suffering the after effects of his fight against Satoru Gojo. Fushiguro, not yet! And then all of a sudden something flashes through Yuji's mind, who starts sprinting, and he immediately starts coughing up blood. He immediately starts coughing up blood and falls to the ground after fully sprinting. What the? No! You know why this happened! Reverse curse technique is a big move you just learned. Oh wait, who's saying this? Reverse curse technique is a big move you just learned, and you've healed 4 wounds that should have been fatal. You haven't fully healed. There must be someplace you haven't fixed. But where? Hurry and fix it! Hurry and find it! And Yuji's thinking about the times he's been heavily injured, almost fatal wounds, but he's healed from it. Then we have Choso, who shows up. Calm yourself. Remember and envision. Send blood to every part of your body as if extending roots. Imagine you're shaping your body through your blood vessels. And then it shows Sukuna, who's steadily running across the highway as Maki is keeping up with him. And when Sukuna tries to throw something at Maki, Maki's already gone from that position. And mind you, Maki is in midair when he throws this. And it looks like no, he doesn't throw anything. He tries to slice. He tries to slice in her direction, but she bounces off of a post and dodges away. Okay, I fully comprehend it now. She tries to slice in her direction. She bounces off of a street light before it gets sliced and manages to get directly in front of him and tries to slice him with the split soul katana. But Sukuna jumps over it, and then Maki, still going after him, tries to slice again, and Sukuna grabs a hold. Sukuna grabs a hold of the katana itself, but then Maki smiles. And this is actually the first time we see Maki smiling ever since she gained access to Heavenly Restriction. She smiles, and then in that same motion, because of her superior strength, she judo flips Sukuna and slams him into the ground, much to his surprise. And then she proceeds to then take Sukuna, who's still holding on to the katana, and then flinging him into the distance, towards the very same bridge she was jumping from. And when that happens, he touches the bridge and then slices it. He immediately starts to dismantle it right then and there, and Maki is just left with a big old gigantic smoke screen of debris. And then as Maki's standing there, as if, and it looks like she's dodging she's not moving at all. She's not moving at all because none of this really means anything to her. And she just gazes and goes, paired falling stars. And then Maki ducks out of the way because Sukuna tries to use cleave, like a horizontal cleave on Maki, but she dodges out of the way. And it's a big one. I imagine that this is the same type of world-splitting cleave that he basically tried to use earlier that wound up wounding both Yuji and Yuta. But he tries to use it against her, and she dodges. She ducks down before she can get sliced by it. And more debris is falling. As we cut to Sukuna thinking, she reads my techniques better than other sorcerers. Much like when I battled Maharaga in Shibuya. And then it cuts to Maki thinking, he's using cursed energy to simultaneously heal and keep his heart beating. So what Megumi said about their encounter at the juvenile detention center must be true. Your heart, can you keep that up while battling me? At the moment, I'm having no trouble at all. And then we cut to another location as we continue the fight with Uraume versus Kinji. I doubt he's trying to hide, but Sukuna's presence is easy to spot. And the whole area has just been covered in ice. Like trees are covered in ice and icicles are hanging from it. The whole area is just covered in a giant cascade of frozen. I doubt he's trying to hide, but Sukuna's presence is easy to spot. What are you trying to say? That form of his looks pretty dangerous, but we're doing all right. Sukuna's cursed energy is withering away. As Kinji can tell that Kinji remembers the form Sukuna had. We're gonna win this. You can bet on it. And then Uruume goes, your cursed technique and optimism are both absurd. And then Kinji goes, thanks. Okotsu even more so. And it just shows Kinji as he freezes over. Wow, I didn't even notice that Kinji was actually freezing over. I didn't even see the stalk of ice that was on his shoulder that started to creep over him more and more. But yeah, ice is all covered in Kinji right now, and then Kinji just gets covered in ice completely as Uruume smiles. And then Uruume continues by saying, Lord Sukuna is capricious? Words. What are they? Lord Sukuna is capricious. His cursed energy wavers like this when he isn't interested in his opponents. You should be ashamed of yourselves for not presenting a better fight than Satoru Gojo. Even considering the effects of the early fighting, I can see that Lord Sukuna still isn't taking this fight seriously. That's a concerning thing to say. That's actually a concerning thing to say. Even considering the effects of the early fighting, even considering the after effects of fighting Satoru Gojo, Sukuna still isn't taking the fight seriously? And then the last panel we get is just the dark visage of Sukuna, he's just covered jet black, and you see the contours of his tattoos over his body, and you see his multiple eyes just glowing with energy, and like this sense of malice is just emanating from Sukuna. So Uruume is just basically saying that Sukuna has yet to begun to fully fight yet. He's not taking it seriously at all, which is a major concern. This is a major concern. So, let's just go over this chapter real quick before my family gets here. Let's see, Halster, CDs, good to see you. DJ, good to see you as well. Let's see, Kusakabe just straight up ignoring that last statement because he don't want to do it. I love it. This man, he's a powerful sorcerer, but he don't like getting in situations where there are people more powerful than him. Still think Maki should have went for the head on her surprise attack, but that may be just me. That would have been too easy. I like the blood specialist is giving the advice. This is just further makes me think she should have went for the head more. He's using cursed energy to make his heart beat again because I swear we've seen him do it before. I mean, Sukuna is more than well aware of the capabilities of a human body, especially after the fact when he encountered Megumi and ripped out Yuji's heart from his body and still kept his body going. Sukuna knows how to function without a heart. He knows. Even if it's just momentarily when he ripped Yuji's heart out, and then he turned back into Yuji normally, and then Yuji died temporarily. Sukuna knows what he's doing. The major concern here is Uruume's statement. The fact that even after all of this, she says, well, Uruume says, I still don't think they confirmed the gender of Uruume, so we're just going to refer to Uruume as Uruume and just use they for now. But they say that Lord Sukuna is capricious. Hold on. I'm going to learn how to say this word. How do I say it? Capricious! It's not capricious! Capricious! Lord Sukuna is capricious. Okay, I know it now. Okay, thank you. Words. I should have looked it up before I finished the statement, but it's all good, I know now. Lord Sukuna is capricious. His cursed energy wavers like this when he isn't interested in his opponents. You should be ashamed of yourselves for not presenting a better fight than Satoru Gojo. Uruume's statement, when they say Sukuna is capricious. Matter of fact, let's look up what this word means. This word means given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. So the dude's bipolar then. Okay, so the dude... I'm sorry. That's an insult to actual bipolar people. But Sukuna is finicky. Really, fickle, inconsistent, changeable, variable, unstable, mercurial, and volatile. He's all of these things. His mood changes randomly. So, but Uruume states that everyone should be ashamed that they tried, that they couldn't make for presenting a better fight than Satoru Gojo. Even considering the effects of the early fighting, I can see that Lord Sukuna still isn't taking this fight seriously. When you have the one person that Sukuna is not keen on killing immediately and is okay with having around due to Uruume knowing how to cook human flesh, like Uruume is a very good cook. When you have Uruume saying that Sukuna is not taking this fight seriously, even though he's been severely hampered after the fight with Satoru Gojo, and Sukuna still isn't fighting seriously, like he's not fighting for his life. He's fighting to see if this is worth his time. You mean to tell me that this whole time, he's still been fighting like that? Even after suffering all these debilitating effects done to him by Gojo, he's not taking anyone seriously. The most scary thing to me is I actually believe her. I don't think she's capping. I don't think Uruume's lying either. Uruume's had the most experience with Sukuna. Out of everyone in existence, Uruume has had the most personal experience with Sukuna. So out of everyone, I would believe Uruume's words when they say Sukuna's not fighting seriously. I've known my lord for this long, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for not presenting a better fight than Satoru Gojo. Out of everyone, I will believe Uruume's words over anyone else. Jays, yo, we're talking about the chapter, and then I'm going to call it a session because I got some salmon on the way. But honestly, Holster, I have to agree with you. If Uruume says that Sukuna isn't fighting seriously, then that means this entire time is just a test to see just how strong these new opponents against Sukuna actually are. Yuta, Yuji, and now Maki. This is all just a game to him. Them, I mean, I keep assuming Uruume is female when we don't actually know. No, it's left ambiguous. It really is left ambiguous for Uruume. Yeah, even now, it's still unknown. There has been no confirmation. So for until it's brought up, or even if it's never brought up, that's not a deal. That's not a big deal. I just want to make sure I'm not representing or misgendering anybody in a chapter. I just want to make sure I'm not doing that because people really do get hung up on that. But it has not been confirmed yet. But yeah, according to the Jujutsu Kaisen official fan book from in the fan book, they've been sticking with Sukuna since 1,000 years ago. They are a human who is allowed to stand beside Sukuna because their cooking is delicious. Naturally, because they are a sorcerer too. Who's sending me messages? I'm trying to read Jujutsu. Who's sending me a message? Put a bottle of rosé in the fridge. Okay, I can do that because I'm about to end this. Right now. But out of everyone who knew Sukuna, Uruume is by far the most bona fide person to believe when it comes to things about Sukuna. So if Uruume is saying Sukuna is not fighting seriously, and you should be ashamed for not giving him a better fight, then that means that we have yet to see the pinnacle of what Sukuna can do. And even though he's contending with Maki, and he's well aware of heavenly restriction individuals, he's well aware of it. This next fight should be interesting. I'm just saying, once we've seen him use Fuga, the box thing, his innate technique, and everything else we haven't seen, and if he's still not taking this seriously, I'm concerned. I'm concerned as well. We've seen this. We know that he's capable of copying, or at least it appears like he was able to copy the technique of Jogo. And then he has access to all of these different techniques as well. For Sukuna, we still haven't seen the absolute pinnacle of what he can do. We still don't know what his actual innate technique is called. We know the aspects of it, but we don't know what it's actually called. And I always go back to his jujutsu skills and everything. So his innate technique, we don't know what it is, but we do know the applications of it. Dismantle, cleave, spiderweb, and then fire, which he's able to copy as well. And then, of course, reverse curse technique, domain amplification, hollow wicker basket, and of course his own domain expansion. We still don't know what his actual innate technique is. But it has many applications to it, but we still don't know what he can do. Because then that's just the whole problem we had with Madara and Naruto. You're not wrong. We haven't seen the absolute pinnacle. We haven't seen the absolute pinnacle of what this man can do. And that's a concern. Now, that's a concern because it leaves that air of uncertainty. Now, mind you, Maki is fully capable of contending with this. Like, she's able to dodge a slash from Sukuna, who's using cleave, a powered-up cleave, because he chants paired falling stars, which enhances jujutsu techniques as well. So, you know, it's like that. It's like using an incantation for Kido in Bleach. So, she's able to dodge that. She's able to dodge his slashes, which he's already fast. So, he can release these slashes at breakneck speed, faster than anybody should be capable of dodging. But Maki is in a league all of her own, being capable of dodging these as well. But it's still a concern when Uruume says that Sukuna's still not serious. That's a concern. But it doesn't appear like we're going on break from this. Like, that's the end of the chapter, but it doesn't look like we're going on break from this. Yeah, it says we're getting a chapter next week. I'll be mindful just in case it changes, because you know how Viz can be with their website. It can be a tad bit fickle. But if Sukuna's not taking this seriously, then what's going to make him serious? That's the concerning thing. And how long before Sukuna decides to pull out all the stops? Amongst everything that happened in this chapter, Sukuna going up against Maki, loved it. But it's still a major concern with what Uruume said. I'm not going to repeat it because I said it at least 4, maybe 5 times already, and you guys get it already. But we're just going to have to see next week. We're just going to have to see. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. I got to put some rosé downstairs inside of the fridge for the family so we can all drink like fancy people. Non-alcoholic, of course. But I got to take care of that. Overall, we had some very good chapters today. A fantastic chapter for One Piece, and a very good chapter for Jujutsu. Not lesser than One Piece, but because I enjoyed them both. But yeah, 2 great chapters for One Piece. 2 great chapters for One Piece and Jujutsu. And all I can say to everyone here, both my name for this chapter is she should have went for the head. It's a whole Thanos Thor situation a little bit right here. But they're trying to get Megumi separated from Sukuna. If Maki wanted to go for the head, I'm pretty sure she would have gone for it. But they're trying to save Megumi. They want to separate Sukuna from Megumi so they can rest. That's the whole purpose of this. They're trying to separate Sukuna from Megumi. And that's the reason why Maki didn't go for the head. But we'll see how things go. To everyone here, both new to the channel and veterans and people who watch me regularly, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe because it helps the channel and because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. Once again, as always, later peoples. Hey, I just noticed I haven't been coughing at all during this stream. I'm better.